taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taking things out of context.
Out of context.
Taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
In the context.
We have more context.
Out of context.
Taken out of context.
That is so out of context.
And take shit out of context.
Out of context.
Deeply out of context.
You're taking it out of context.
Now, hey, hold on. So we're going to flesh this out because I don't want nobody saying we don't take things in context.
Clipped me out of context.
It was out of context.
It's hard for your words to be taken out of context.
The full context.
In a modern day context.
Tell me the context.
Another important reminder as to why context is so important. So,
I am so glad that the weekend is almost here. I hope everybody is doing fantastic and that you have an amazing weekend. But first, I want to talk about Candace Owens. If you didn't know, last week and this week, she has been on vacation. She posted this to X yesterday. Don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. The things I've discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. But behind a paywall for her book club, she did a video where she went on to make some very damning and heinous, unfounded allegations. There is also a lot of fake placating and ass-kissery going on in the conservative social media movement. People are even attacking Matt Walsh again. For what reason is beyond me, but some of these recent posts on X by Candace Owens aren't really proving anything other than she had some old text messages between her and Charlie Kirk. And at one time, they were friends. They were co-workers. Her choice of words and vocabulary is always meant to gaslight and manipulate her audience. That is what I don't take kindly to. Because I love my friends, my community here, and I just could not imagine selling out and conforming all for a paycheck. And again, it's pure narcissism to think that it's all about her. Even the Charlie Kirk assassination somehow is all about her, when really they shouldn't have killed Charlie Kirk. If they wanted to kill somebody, wouldn't you think that Candace Owens, the one that is anti-Israel, the genocide she thinks they are committing, the person who has been a Democrat liberal for the majority of her life, don't you think it would make more sense for them to target her? She's also conflating Israel and the United States federal government and Donald Trump and Donald Trump's administration. Like all of those things are one and the same. Now, I'm not going to lie. I always loved Candace Owens and I backed her completely, blindly. But in 5 weeks, making 18 videos about Charlie Kirk's assassination and the blatant many lies, including misrepresenting his letter to Benjamin Netanyahu, which is his private correspondence. Even Candace Owens cannot be narcissistic enough to think and feel that she has the right, the legal right, to see that private correspondence. But now it's been out. I've even published my own video about it. She hasn't apologized to her audience for lying about that, for intentionally misrepresenting and misleading them. Same thing with the text messages about a Jewish donor, trying to conflate that with Israel or Benjamin Netanyahu. Also, it is not beyond her to target the feds and blame them for using psychological manipulation tactics when that is exactly what she is doing. Why do you think she is so obsessed with psychology and Sigmund Freud? Because she has not only been studying those psychological tactics, she has been employing and utilizing them on her audience. And I am a perfect example of that. But once I realized it, I couldn't unsee it. And this isn't just an insinuation. Listen to what she said on her book club live while on vacation. Take a listen.
Really needed to just take a breather and really process everything that happened with Charlie and what it kind of means in terms of where we are. And I think it is a circumstance where we just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, That is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you. They're like holiday and a boulevard. And it's never on a nice side of town either. Like Charlie Kirk Boulevard is not going to be a nice side of town. Anyways, I will be back on the 27th, you guys. Thank you guys for all the support throughout these couple of weeks, these last really kind of 6 weeks since Charlie died. And we will see you guys then.
Oh, that made me emotional.
No matter which way you twist or turn that, she is insinuating that the federal government, the Trump administration, and Donald Trump have something to do with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And she even goes as far as to insinuating that Israel does as well, because they gave Charlie Kirk an entire boulevard. And what did the Holy Land give Candace Owens? Nothing more than Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, alleging that she is exactly like Joseph Goebbels, the PSYOP, the Nazi regime, the Third Reich propaganda minister to none other than Führer Adolf Hitler. It's not funny, but Candace Owens is not doing herself any favors because it is starting to really look and feel that way, giving a lot of credit to Benjamin Netanyahu. And also, it has to be said that those 18 videos allegedly are earning Candace Owens over $5 million now. After only 5, she was projected to make $1.3 million. And yes, a user over on X has been doing all of the math on the live gifts, I think the ad revenue on the replay, subscriptions, merchandise sales, and new website membership subscriptions. She simply cannot accept the fact that Kash Patel, the FBI director, who is also very good friends with Charlie Kirk before he ever became the FBI director, that he helped aid the Utah law enforcement in finding the assassin of Charlie Kirk. And that is exactly what they did. Doesn't matter what we think we know, what we want to be true. Doesn't matter our thoughts, feelings, opinions. And it doesn't matter what any conspiracy theorist has to say, especially after 18 videos and no proof. We do know that Tyler James Robinson is the young man who has been indicted. And yes, he did allege over 2 different times to his own family, his own parents, his own neighbor and minister, that not only did he do it, but that he had an ideation to just end it rather than go to prison. After being caught, like many criminals, he panicked and fully confessed to his lover. All of these people are going to be subpoenaed as eyewitnesses. It was at the end of September that gag order was put into place for all of the lawyers, all of the eyewitnesses, all of the family members that are pertaining to witnesses are bound by that gag order, but it doesn't cover Candace Owens. So that is another lie and another mistruth to sit there and say that she is willing to violate a gag order on behalf of goodness, on behalf of truth, of the world, of justice for Charlie Kirk. No, she was trying to tamper with those witnesses by getting information from them to use for content, trying to purposely obstruct justice so there would be a hung jury or a mistrial or an acquittal. So she can then step back and say, see, I was right. See, I knew that kid didn't do it. If you had any fucking respect for Charlie Kirk at all, whether you liked him or not, you would leave it be. Conspiracy theorize all day long. But don't tamper with witnesses. Don't obstruct justice. And that gag order is preventing the people that she's been trying so hard to get to talk and to give her information and video from legally talking to her. Thus, we've seen a 2-week-long vacation. And that's fine. If she's got millions of dollars and her husband is worth almost $300 million and they can take vacations, then so be it. But she is gaslighting, manipulating, and using psychology to manipulate her audience. that is fundamentally in every capacity not being honest. That is not being truthful. And when she says that Charlie was betrayed by everyone, that is a lie. I didn't know Charlie Kirk and I did not betray him. Saying everyone means everyone. It even includes Candace Owens, his own wife, Erica Kirk. It even includes like Ian Carroll, Megyn Kelly, Matt Walsh, Tucker Carlson. The choice of words she is selecting, she's not really realizing that it exposes the BS, that she's further trying to drive more conspiracy theories, paranoia, anxiety, stress, and fear. And that's exactly how AI works and how people get addicted to AI and AI psychosis and confirmation bias. Candace Owens is doing the same exact bullshit. But first, under fair use, I want you guys to watch these few clips. And everybody is credited in the description box. But take a listen.
Either Erica Kirk is evil and conspired with the Trump administration to kill her husband, Charlie Kirk, to assassinate him in cold blood, or Candace Owens has officially crossed the Rubicon to evil. Tell me if you disagree, and we'll take your chat on it later. But those are my initial thoughts. And I'm going to call it, gonna weasel out. And I didn't say that, and I didn't imply that, and we're just asking questions. You need to do better. One final thing. People have talked about this. Is it true? Is it not? Is that actually the psyop where the left has wanted to drive a wedge between those on the right? Do you think that fracturing those on the right over a baseless conspiracy that the most effective president in modern American history killed one of the most effective public figures in modern American history, who's survived by his wife, who happens to be very close with a supportive president? I couldn't think of a more effective wedge issue. So either way, if it's stupidity or it's proactive evil, you must do better, sweetheart.
Question for the crew. What can we say to the people who listen to Candace and believe her? It feels like talking to a leftist at this point, and I'm not sure how we can break through to them.
It does.
No, they're in chat. Good luck.
Some of them are.
There's a content creator on this app by the name of Todd is Talking. And if you don't know about Todd, Todd's one of those people that was like one of the, like, in competition with like the older millennial and maybe others to try to see who could shit on Candace the hardest. And Todd was like, every other video for a minute there was like, where are you at, Candace? Why are you not the Mario, Candace? Like, bring it down, Todd. You're going to bust a blood vessel, bro. Like, he was like foaming at the mouth for weeks about Candace. Now he's posting videos. Now that Candace hasn't been on the air for over a week, now Todd is slowly trying to creep in to the same line of questioning, talking about our BFF over in the Middle East, and the same line of questioning about things like, where are all the eyewitness people that saw what happened to Charlie? What's going on? And what's so funny to me is the people in the comments that are calling him out, and they're like, you're sounding awfully a lot like Candace. You know, the person you've been taking a literal deuce on for the last 7 weeks? Yeah, that girl. Of course, Todd has not responded to any of that because Todd is arrogant. And for one of Todd's shticks against Candace being that she's doing this for clicks and views, it's for clout, it looks like Todd just goes wherever the wind blows. Todd is a perfect example of that catty gay man that you just want to give a good bat to. Just stop talking, Todd. I just personally love that Todd has spent the last 7 weeks making sure his every single follower, anyone that came across his content, knew that Candace was the absolute worst. She was some backwards, clickbaity, rage baiting, grifting, just the worst. She was not his friend. She was terrible. She was awful. And, you know, she's just this postpartum psychosis, BICTH, just the whole nine. And then now you're literally taking her exact line of questioning and line of thinking and just adopting it as your own. Talk about faking gay. I mean, he's already got the gay thing down, but the fakeness, man, that's real. These are the kinds of people I've been trying to tell you since I exposed all of these influencers for being fake and gay about 7 weeks ago. These are the exact same people that try to pretend that they're grounded and that they're, truthful and honest, and they value things like integrity, and it's those bad people on the left. They're the ones you need to worry about. Meanwhile, you over here being just as fake and gay, just as hypocritical. It's actually kind of remarkable. But y'all keep hating on Candace. Y'all keep doing it. It's cool with me. Not a single person can make me hate that woman. I don't care. I truly don't care. The only person that could ever change my mind about Candace is Candace. So let's just make that clear right now.
You've got to see what she says this time, because even those of you giving me a hard time for questioning Candace Owens are going to have to scratch your head and go, what the hell is she talking about? This video dropped last night on her website and was sent to me via X by somebody who subscribes to her website. Keep in mind, I've been going after Candace Owens not on her and her character and personality, but on the facts that she's been putting out there that aren't really facts, and on the things that she's been saying that I've called her out on. She's gotten many things wrong, like where the meeting was in the Hamptons and what the intent was in that group chat, and also the letter that Charlie Kirk sent to Netanyahu, the contents of that. She's gotten a lot of it wrong. She didn't seem to understand UTC when it comes to time, about planes and drones and so on. But this one was on her website last night. Somebody who subscribes to her website went there, saw this, and then put it up on X and said, here, you can use this if you want. This is Candace Owens herself, unedited. This is her talking about who she says killed Charlie Kirk. And the allegation is very direct. I mean, I hear it for what she says. You tell me if I'm getting it wrong.
Next week, I just had to... 27th. The 27th. We'll be back on Monday. Full steam ahead. Just really needed to just take a breather and really process everything that happened with Charlie and what it kind of means in terms of where we are. And I think it is a circumstance where we just know. We just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, that is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them?
What?
Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you. They're like holiday and a boulevard. And it's never on a nice side of town either. Like Charlie Kirk Boulevard is not going to be a nice side of town. Anyways, I will be back on the 27th, you guys. Thank you guys for all the support throughout these couple of weeks, these last really kind of 6 weeks since Charlie died.
You tell me what I'm missing. Talks about how Trump moved on, gave him a holiday, and that's what they do. They give you a holiday when they kill you. Did she not just suggest that Trump is somehow the guy who killed Charlie Kirk? And then she talks about Charlie Kirk Boulevard or a street in Israel, because that's what they do. They give you a street after they kill you. Did she, listen, you tell me if I'm missing some sort of innuendo here or nuance here. Did Candace Owens not just say that Donald Trump and Israel somehow killed Charlie Kirk? Is that what she just said? In the beginning, she doesn't seem to know what date she's coming back. Keep in mind, she's got all this incredible information, and she's going to tell us the real story about Charlie Kirk's death, but then she took 10 days off. Now, again, I don't know her other than she called my show once, and we had a fine conversation. But this is more than unhinged. This isn't just somebody making something up. This is somebody making a direct allegation that Donald Trump, who then gave him a holiday, and Israel, that gave him a street, are somehow on the hook for killing Charlie Kirk. You tell me in the comments right now what it is that I've missed in this video that was taken from her website. Now, again, this has been provided on X. It's being talked about all day. The young lady who actually is a member on her website who got it said, here, you can use this. She stripped it right from the website. Tell me what I've got wrong, because I think there's a lot going on here. And it's actually to the point where I'm starting to feel sorry for her, that maybe I'm going to have to add her to my prayers. You tell me. Come on.
Now Candace Owens is under fire again because she said Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, and Elon Musk are hybrid droids bringing in demonic AI. And they're calling her next level unhinged. Here's the thing. Have you actually listened to what she said?
Get that sense. I've always known it was demonic. And people just get on board because, as we talked about in this book,
they are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards. And the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become less emotionally sound.
She's saying that they're using psychology and selling you this fantasy that tech will save you when life's only gotten worse. Tell me that that's wrong. Even Elon Musk said himself, we're summoning the demon.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, you sure you can control the demon? It didn't work out.
Yeah, the second she connects the dots, suddenly she's crazy. That's how it always works. The truth doesn't sound crazy anymore. It sounds like a prophecy. Maybe crazy just means you see right what's in front of you.
Candace Owens is absolutely spitting facts in this. She's taken all the red pills. Listen to this.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, you know? They are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards, and the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become less emotionally sound. And yet they are convincing us that this is like humanity's great leap forward. We put a man on the moon, and he just like called them up and was like, hey, press, what's up? I'm up here. Yeah, it's so cool. It's really great. It's nice. Starry night up here. Okay, I'm going to text you. I go by in 69, and they get these people, they tell you like he's a genius. They're all writing like he's a genius, so we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius, because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood, it was all occults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just kids and summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real. And that has been, I think, the greatest trick that the devil ever played, right? Is making people think that he didn't exist, and making people atheists, making people believe that there's nothing, like you're here for a moment in time, because then it allows them to further tether us to their reality and to their God, which is money, right? Well, if you truly knew and believed, like I do, I actually know that this is not it. Like, I know this is not it. But if you truly believed that, you wouldn't sell your soul. People think that that's just like an expression. Oh, he sold his soul. No, you are literally selling your soul. Like, when you tell lies and you go down a path of lying because you're so afraid of not having the security of a paycheck, or you're willing to do something terrible to maintain that job, or keeping your mouth shut to maintain that job. We're seeing it right now with the Charlie Kirk case, right? You're selling your soul. Like, there's a life after this. They have made you pledge your allegiance to their dollar because they know life is going on. They know that. They want you to literally sell them your soul. That's my personal belief. It's why I am religious. It's why I speak about, my faith openly, because I just know if this is not it, and I just know these people are demons. Like, I don't know. They just look at the way they breathe. Like, you know what I mean? Same thing. I look at Sam Altman. I'm like, look, I don't know. But I know.
Check this out. Candace Owens is now openly saying that she thinks that Donald Trump and the federal government murdered Charlie Kirk. Check this out.
It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, that is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it up. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like, that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you. They're like Holiday and a Boulevard. And it's never on the nice side of town either. Like Charlie Kirk Boulevard is not going to be on the nice side of town.
So an anonymous person that works for Turning Point USA has released these messages and says that we're talking about Candace Owens' episode yesterday on her podcast, and she mentions that one or two of the board members at Turning Point are benefiting from the blue and white flag. Anyways, so if you go on and you listen to her episode today, it references Charlie Kirk's life being kind of like the Truman Show. And I know it sounds like a joke, but you guys just have to go and watch the episode. This right here and everything that it says in here, that a lot of the staff at Turning Point USA are on the same side as Candace in this situation. So you guys can read the rest yourself. It even says and mentions that Candace is receiving information from memos that the director level type people, so it shows the actual staff, even high ups, want the answers to. Set Candace out of this equation and really look at what's going on and what's being said. Go listen to N. Carroll. Go listen to Megyn Kelly. Go listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Go listen to Tucker Carlson. It adds up.
Now, everybody is coming for Candace Owens, and it's not because they don't like her or they don't respect her. It's because she's not been held accountable for the lies that she has been perpetrating, constantly promising receipts, but 18 videos she delivers little to none. And the one she does, she largely misinterprets and misrepresents exactly what and who. She really is the poster child for confirmation bias. And it's really started to make me wonder, how much love does she honestly have for Charlie Kirk? Even long after they're falling out, to be behaving this way. I have been questioning from day one, why is she meddling in an active investigation? Why is she obstructing justice? Why is she trying to tamper with witnesses, impeding justice? Because even if there's a mistrial or a hung jury because of some procedure or technicality, I can guarantee you that if Utah doesn't, the FBI and the federal government will continuously, no matter how much money it takes, try Tyler James Robinson again and again and again if they have to. But I really feel that Candace Owens is a lot more conscious and aware of what she is doing, but it really feels like there is very strong motive to really let his killer get off and to help him do it. If she was ever a friend of his and ever loved him or had any respect for his family, his wife, his babies, she would not even potentially bias a jury pool. Investigate all you want, but leave the professionals in law enforcement to do their job. Leave their evidence and their witnesses alone during an active investigation. Otherwise, it's high time that the judge take action. And maybe a gag order isn't enough, even though Candace Owens has nothing to do with the case and isn't bound by the gag order. It stops her from having further content because she can no longer reach out to the people who are. And a part of me really is starting to feel like that's exactly what she wanted to do, to get a mistrial or a hung jury. So she has a reason and proof to tell the world and her audience, see, I was correct. See, something's not right here. See, the feds are lying and the jury's seen right through it. I truly believe that before this is all said and done, if they haven't already brought a plea deal to Tyler James Robinson to remove the death penalty off the table for his full confession and life in prison without the possibility of parole, I do believe that he is going to confess legally and fully before everything is said and done, because I truly believe that they got the right guy. And like Kash Patel or not, I truly believe, as a dear friend of Charlie Kirk, that they will see to Tyler James Robinson being tried in the court of law as many times as they have to, if that were to ever happen. Because I truly do believe that he is trying to get justice for his friend, unlike Candace Owens, who at this point has done nothing but tell you and try to make you believe that that is what she wants and what she is doing. But look at it this way. She's not a lawyer. She's not a witness. She was not there that day. She wasn't even near that side of the country that day. She wasn't an eyewitness. She has no information that would be of value. She's not a law enforcement official. She's not a federal agent. She's not CIA. She's not Utah law enforcement. She's nor a lawyer on any legal team or defense team. She's not a judge. But one good thing that she does do is gaslight and manipulate her audience into believing what she says, and even twisting the things that she shows to make you believe what she wants you to believe when showing it to you. However, there's some really amazing, beautiful people out there who have brought some really great points out, and I really appreciate that I'm not alone anymore, because I once liked Candace, but this, I felt the demonic energy, the greed, the capitalistic opportunity. And it's not over just a simple conspiracy. It's a man's life. So take a listen to these videos. Again, sharing under fair use, and each creator is in the description box, credited.
Not Candace Owens out here pretending to be a defender of justice, claiming that she's going to defy something that doesn't even involve her. So this is a post that she made yesterday. It says, "Don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. Ba ba ba. The things I've discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone." The thing is, the gag order doesn't even involve her. It has very vague language, basically saying that anybody involved in Charlie Kirk's case is under a gag order, meaning the people that she is trying to get to speak on this case are being instructed not to. So that is why they are not responding to her, not because she's right, even though that's the way she's interpreting it. Apparently, Candace Owens and the people that listen to her need to be told that just talking about the case does not mean that you're involved in it. Making a whole slew of videos about the case does not mean that you're involved in it. She's not bound by this gag order at all. In response to Candace's post, this is what Sean Farish said, and I think he laid out her agenda pretty clearly. It says, "Let me explain to you what Candace is doing. Candace is trying to coax those who are bound by the gag order in the Kirk assassination case, which is normal for cases of that magnitude to ensure a fair trial, to violate the gag order. This could trigger a mistrial. If it does, she will say that a mistrial occurred because the case fell apart due to there being too many holes, when in reality, she will have caused the case's collapse due to procedural violations. When she is then threatened and possibly charged with witness tampering and obstruction, she will claim she is being censored and that they are trying to shut her down for asking questions. This ends with no justice for Charlie Kirk, and all eyes are on Candace Owens, which is precisely what she wants. This is all transparently a grift, and it is time that everyone stops being afraid to call it what it is." Seems like he hit a nerve, because when he posted that, she blocked him. To prove that this is nothing but a grift, conveniently, all of her receipts tend to be behind a paywall, which I think is waking people up. She's not interested in the truth. She wants one outcome and one outcome only, and she is doing everything that she can to discredit and derail the actual investigation so that she can have more arrows to point to Israel. Not only that, this is her pot of gold. How many videos has she made on this? And no answer, no resolution is ever good enough, because she manages to paint it as a distraction from the truth. It's absolutely bonkers.
Candace Owens now has a completely different tune. She has taken a break, by the way, and just announced that she'll be back on the 27th of this month. She's also now saying that if you have a day named after you, or if you have a boulevard named after you, that is now enough evidence to indicate that those doing the naming are probably responsible for you not being here anymore. And those are her receipts. See? She said she was going to bring receipts. She has receipts, and that's those are the receipts.
Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock off. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you.
I told you she brought the receipts, and apparently those are all the receipts that she needs. If you have a boulevard named after you or a holiday, then boom, that's all the evidence you need. And there it is, folks. We've been wanting those receipts, and now we have them. Well, she's absolutely changing her tune a little bit, but the Charlie Kirk thing is still very much ongoing for her.
A storm is brewing in conservative media, and at the center of it is Candace Owens. She just told millions of her followers she plans to allegedly violate a court-issued gag order tied to the Charlie Kirk murder case, claiming she's doing it, in her own words, on the world's behalf. Here's what's confirmed. No fluff, just facts. Reports from Utah and Unilad confirmed that a judge in Utah issued a gag order restricting disclosure of witness identities and sealed evidence in the case. On X, Candace Owens wrote, "Don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf." End quote. That single post ignited debate across social media. Supporters call her truth-telling, standing for transparency, and refusing to stay silent. Critics say it's reckless defiance, risking interference in an active case meant to protect fairness and safety. Now, gag orders are generally issued to parties, attorneys, and witnesses in a case. Outsiders are rarely included unless the court explicitly extends the restriction. Now, when a prominent figure begins publicly defying or questioning such an order, the boundary between free speech, fair trial protections, and possible interference with legal proceedings becomes blurred. But Candace Owens supporters are all eyes and ears. Here's the question I bring forth to the table for open discussion. What truth do you think Candace Owens believes the public deserves to know?
This video is brought to you by me, and only me, that's it. But let's get into the actual stuff, right? Candace Owens has officially released these damning text messages that show Charlie Kirk was officially turning on Israel, except that's not what those text messages said at all. This is exactly what those text messages say, and if you read them, Charlie is voicing frustrations with certain Jewish donors as a result of them threatening to leave Turning Point because he brought on people like Tucker Carlson. The issue with these text messages, number one, doesn't show that he's turning on Israel itself. It shows that he's fed up with the Zionist community, and I also don't know where people got this idea that he was going to announce this 48 hours after he died, because there's nothing that says that in this whatsoever, but I digress. This is something that we all already knew about, right? We don't need to speculate Charlie's emotions for it. We certainly don't need Candace speaking for him, because he publicly spoke about it on the Megyn Kelly show, where he talked about some of the mistreatment that he went through at the hands of the Zionist community, and I think that a lot of his criticism and complaints in this episode are actually completely valid. It's something that I've spoken about before, where there can be this knee-jerk reaction, this hive mind mentality, and it's not something that's limited to the Zionist community. I've seen it from the pro-Palestinians. I've seen it from Republicans, Democrats, right? It's a problem in the political sphere overall, where people get into this group, and if you criticize, if you go against the group, then everybody's going to attack you. But it's something that needs to stop, and it is something that pushes people away. I myself have gone through it, and I think that it's absolutely terrible for the movement. Now, does that mean that Charlie was turning on Israel itself? No. If you actually go watch the entire episode of him speaking with Megyn Kelly, which is something that I did, he makes it abundantly clear that he still supports Israel and their mission. In fact, he doubles down that he wants them to win the war. This is going to be a little bit of a longer clip, but I feel like it encompasses everything that's mentioned in those text messages very well, so take a listen.
Megyn, I think I have a bulletproof resume showing my defense of Israel, both on campus, on social media, to great, let's just say mockery and scorn at times, right? Because I believe it, right? I believe in the scriptural land rights given to Israel. I believe in fulfillment of prophecy. And again, I'm not a theologian, but I'm a Christian. My life was changed in Israel. The spiritual energy is so amazing there. I want them to win. I've said that repeatedly.
Same.
And however, Megyn, you're hitting on something very potent and important. Now, let me first say, I don't want to judge an entire group, because there's been many people in the pro-Israel world that have been very sweet, very kind, very nuanced, very Charlie, you're with us. You don't have to agree all the time. However, and I will say this, the behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megyn, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. I visit Israel and fight for it. And there's another article out in the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, what am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here. Like, I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megyn, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things. You had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the 5th time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megyn. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this.
As you can clearly see, Charlie spoke for himself just fine. He certainly doesn't need Candace Owens speaking for him when it comes to this subject. And this is something that I find to be pretty dishonest of her to do, right? She's treating it like a way to make money. She tweeted out very soon after releasing these text messages that she apparently has more, but she's not going to release them until the next episode where you all watch and have to sit through her paywall and her advertisements. It just does not seem genuine to me. Now, like I've always said, I'm a human. There could be things that I don't know, maybe. There could be things that I'm missing. If any of you have a way to combat what I'm saying in the comments, I'm all ears. But as of right now, she has not substantiated a single one of her claims on this. In fact, she's had to walk back multiple because she was caught lying. For example, the letter to Netanyahu, well, it got released in full, and it certainly didn't say what she was claiming it said, despite the fact she herself had never read it, right? She called on Netanyahu to release it because she never read it, but she also sat there trying to say that he lied about it. Well, he released it, and it wasn't a lie, not at all. She got caught lying about what was said during the Hamptons House meeting with Bill Ackman. I have some friends who were actually there, and the most contentious debate that took place that night was quite literally about marriage. It had nothing to do with Israel, and yet she was lying about Bill Ackman, honestly putting him at risk with how crazy some people were getting about it. She has been caught lying, she's had to walk back multiple statements, and now she's releasing these text messages that prove absolutely nothing about her claims. I don't know why people are still choosing to believe this. I do think that it is deeply rooted in the fact that people are just looking to blame Israel. People say they're just asking questions. Well, why are you not asking questions about Qatar, who has been known to fund certain things in America, right? Many of these pro-Palestine protests, many of our universities. Why are you not questioning things like radical Islam? Charlie was very outspoken about this. Why are you not questioning maybe there's more to it from the left? That's what I personally think. I think that there's more leftist groups involved than we might know about. But why is it only one line of questioning, and why is she wrong so often on it?
Candace Owens is back on Twitter, and she dropped a huge bomb. She says she has enough information, enough verified information that is true in the last week that she's gathered that will bring the whole house down. The only house that I can think of that she is literally talking about is Turning Point USA, because then she finishes off the tweet by saying he was betrayed on all sides. This is going to be insane when she comes back. She took a 2-week break. She should be back, sometime this week, I think. Now it's been about 2 weeks that we've needed Candace, because nobody else is defending Charlie here, trying to find out exactly what's going on. We need her. And she's coming back, and she's coming back with receipts, it seems like. Protect this. I'm going to pray for her. Protect this woman at all costs, because she's putting herself on the front lines. She is a mom. She's a wife, and she's putting herself on the front lines to find out what actually happened to Charlie.
I just have to come on here and say this because it's been all over my For You page and it's pissing me off. As someone that used to love Candace Owens, it's incredibly disheartening to see her just fall off the cliff as she's done the past few years. But watching her monetize and practically profit off of Charlie's assassination literally makes me sick to my stomach. As someone that watched Charlie die in front of me, there is nothing more that I want than to know what happened and for the person that did it to be held responsible. And why she thinks she knows more and is entitled to information that is clearly not being released to the public yet is so beyond me. Her claiming to go against this gag order when the gag order literally does not apply to her. Oh my gosh. She's a grifter, and it sucks. It sucks that there are people that are taking what happened to Charlie and using it for their own benefit. Anyways, I would just say, if you are someone like me that cares about the outcome of this case and wants everyone who was a part of it to be brought to justice, just make sure that you're doing your research and you're not just reading anything and everything you see on social media and taking that as the gospel truth.
Y'all remember those two guys that went to Tennessee State University, that HBCU, and got ran off campus because they came there unannounced wanting to debate? Well, Candace Owens thought that was a very good idea. But instead of sending white people to an HBCU, they're sending a Trojan horse. they would send black people to an HBCU to antagonize black people. At least they asked for permission this time. Now, the tour that is going on, that has been going on since the 25th of September, is called Blexit. This is a play on Brexit, and we all know, like, we should know by now that Brexit didn't actually go very well, like, at all. Like, what are you exiting? Being black? Anyway, Blexit was actually founded by Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum in 2019. In 2023, they merged with Turning Point USA. Yes, that Turning Point USA. The one run by Charlie Kirk, the king of derogatory terms and statements when it came to black people. And he loved going to universities and colleges to tell students how bad black and trans people were. Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were friends. And so Blexit, run by Candace Owens, is powered by Turning Point USA. Now, when you go onto the Blexit website, you'll see that they have some really flowery language that actually kind of sounds good on the face of it, right? Like educating minorities about the history of America and highlighting the principles of the Constitution. They claim to want criminal justice reform and to stop the mass incarceration of minorities. Sounds good, right? And then you remember that it's Candace Owens, the same person who was against the BLM movement of 2020, the same movement that was calling for justice reform. Candace Owens, the MAGA who is a Holocaust denier and says that Jewish people essay and sacrifice children as a part of their religion. Although, honestly, if you're keeping track, it is the Christians and the Catholics who keep being in the news when it comes to their dealings with children. Candace even said that George Soros, who is Jewish, funded the BLM movement to destabilize the country, as if calling for justice reform, calling for our people to be able to walk down the street, ride a bicycle, be in our house playing video games, go for a run, sleep in our beds, get a flat tire on the street, or reach for our wallet when the authorities actually ask for them, all without getting unalived, is destabilizing the country. And yes, every single one of those incidents that I named, a black person has been unalived while doing that, simply for the crime of being black, because black lives do not matter in this country as much as other lives. They are not valued in this country as much as other lives. Black lives are the only lives in this country that was deemed in our Constitution to be 3/5 of an actual life. 3/5 of a human being in our Constitution. So the BLM movement was a movement to make it so we are seen as humans in this country. How is that destabilizing for this country? And this See, this is why I don't talk about Candace Owens. Is because she pisses me off. Because she is indeed a Trojan horse. Going to our children's colleges and coming up in our spaces to feed us that bull crap. Thinking that we are just going to eat it up because she too is black. Oh, skin folk and kin folk. And I really hope that people start to realize that. Just because it is coming from a black person's mouth, that don't mean it's right. But I digress. Now, after Charlie Kirk's unaliving, the people who followed him immediately started threatening HBCUs to the point where they had to shut down classes because they kept getting big boom threats. Now, those children in those schools had absolutely nothing to do with what happened in Utah. But the hateful rhetoric of that man drove those people, those racist people, to do what they did at those HBCUs. And then those two guys come on that HBCU claiming that they want to debate, which they really just wanted an altercation so that they can say that black people are more violent. And even though nothing happened to those two, people were still up in my comments telling me that black people were violent, even though those guys were not hurt. So Candace Owens decided that that was a good idea to take her Blexit on the road. So they started targeting HBCUs for a tour to come to those black colleges and basically do what Charlie Kirk used to do. Spew hateful rhetoric on college campuses, hoping to indoctrinate some of the students. They started this on the 25th of September, going to Johnson C. Smith, to Alabama State, then they went to Jackson State, and then they went to Tennessee State. Now, they were going to go to Florida A&M, but the alumni and the students actually protested against them going because it's homecoming season, and they didn't want some type of political panel to be there bringing down the vibe of homecoming season. So the Blexit tour was forced to cancel at Florida A&M. So this is the middle of their tour. And they have 5 more schools that they plan to go to between now and the 31st. Now, before I get to that, I do want to say that this tour so far has been pretty much a flop. Not only have they been protested against in places like Florida A&M, but not very many people are showing up at all to these events. They are going on those campuses and are basically being ignored by everybody, which is really good to hear because Candace Owens wants to be the new Charlie Kirk, just on the black side of the spectrum, and black people aren't giving her the time of day, which I am very heartened by because we know a Trojan horse when we see it. We know that all of those flowery words that they try to say, once they actually get talking, they say what their true feelings are. And they are not on the right side of history when it comes to Black history or our Black future. So getting back to the schools that they are on the way to, if you go to any of these schools, or if you know someone who goes to any of these schools, please continue to ignore them. Spread the word to ignore them. Giving them silence and ignoring them is the loudest statement that you can make. So on the 23rd of October, they are going to my hometown in Durham, North Carolina, to North Carolina Central. Y'all, don't give them the time of day. They are going from there on the 24th to Howard University. They are also going to Hampton University on the 24th, according to their schedule. They're going to Bowie State on the 31st, as well as Lincoln College on the 31st. Don't give them any of your energy in any of those colleges coming up. Our babies need to realize that they do not need to be in situations where people are constantly talking down to them and berating them for who and what they are. It is not playing the victim to bring up the injustices of this country. We can bring up the injustices of this country and we can demand better for ourselves and our kids while also pushing for the excellence and success that we know that we are capable of. We can do both. We don't have to hate ourselves or our community in order to thrive in this country. We don't have to do that. And our children don't have to sit there and listen to it. Let these people in this Blexit tour talk to the only thing that will listen to them. Empty chairs.
Okay, I'm going to need all the Candace Owens supporters to come to the front. All of you come to the front and have a seat. If you are a Candace Owens follower, supporter, soldier, yada yada, would you please unfollow me, block me, whatever? I am so fatigued by y'all at the reaching that you are doing. I mean, I ain't seen this many Republicans act like Democrats since I don't know when. And by the way, if you are a born-again Christian, thank you, Jesus! And you still screaming you support Candace Owens? You need a heart check. Because Candace is not the representation of a Christian. I don't know if y'all saw it or not, because I know I get a lot of people that say, do you even watch her podcasts? And I have. Do you know that she read from the Quran? What is the Quran? Oh, it's the book that Muslims read in their religion. And by the way, what do Muslims hate the most? First of all, they hate the country of Israel and the people therein. They hate Christians, and they hate the American people. Yet it looks like that's the road Candace is heading down. But wait, I thought she was a devout Catholic. Yet she's reading from the Quran. Listen, all I'm telling you is that she was a liberal way longer than she's been a Republican, guys. Way longer, or a conservative, shall I say, because evidently people are really starting to hate the Republican word for whatever unknown reason. And and by the way, just another side note, when she said that Charlie came to her in a dream and that he told her that he was betrayed, that is the furthest thing from the Bible and biblical theology that you can say. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 5 talks about how people know that they're going to die, but when they die, they know nothing. So please explain to me how Charlie went to her in a dream and told her that he was betrayed when the Bible says that the dead know nothing. Girl, okay. And not to mention, like I've said before, the people that Charlie loved the most, was with the most, cared for the most, she's done nothing but poop on. And you might say, well, she's just calling it out. She's just picking out the weeds. I'm not saying there wasn't corruption at Turning Point USA. There's corruption in every organization. However, I believe if Charlie knew there was corruption, he was going to get it out. And the disrespect that has been shown to Erica Kirk by all of you and Candace Owens is astounding to me. Listen, you can say that her behavior is shady. Her emotions have looked shady to you all from the very beginning. But let me tell you, do you not understand that this woman is a grieving woman? She has grieving children. And she's playing mother and father to both of these children and running an organization that her husband put his whole life into. I think y'all forget all of that. Look, all I'm saying at the end of the day, if you are a Candace supporter, soldier, whatever, drinking that Kool-Aid, I don't care. Please unfollow me right now. Unfollow me right now. Because anybody that supports someone that reads from the Quran and doesn't believe the Bible, okay, I don't want no part. And that are for free Palestine and Gaza and Hamas and all that, because she certainly ain't for Israel, let me tell you that. I don't want no part. I really don't. Respectfully, I don't. I really don't. You might say, Mama Kay, why are you being so mean? Why are you having such an attitude? Listen, when my God's holy word is tainted and people call themselves Christians, yet don't go by what the Bible says, you're a wolf in sheep's clothing and you're following a wolf. That's it. So again, I say, Candace Owens supporters, soldiers, followers, whatever, please do me a favor and unfollow me. I have no desire to have any part of that disgusting behavior.
Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. The things I've discovered in the past week are enough to burn the house down. Don't worry about the gag order in Charlie Kirk's case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. But guys, people are waking up. Do you think Candace Owens is in on it? They always send someone to violate the gag order when the gag was part of the script. Candace isn't exposing the machine, she's performing it. Charlie was betrayed by everyone. That's a clean statement, just enough to rage you, to keep you talking. Just vague enough to keep you guessing. It's not journalism. Yeah, bro was spitting, and it is very true. Guys, let's be honest, if she was really giving the insights, would she have hundreds of thousands of live viewers? They would figure out how to shut that down if she was actually going to give real information. Let's get serious. The people that took him down, let's say, also control all of YouTube. They would not let them sit there and spit all of these facts if they were true. So obvious. I don't understand how you don't see this. She's 100% in on it.
Charlie Kirk update. I'm going to show you something that's being wiped off the internet right now, but Candace Owens has broken her silence. She's been on vacation for a week, obviously researching all this stuff. If you didn't know, the judge has put out a gag order not allowing anybody involved in the case to say anything about anything. Based Sam Parker has found out that the judge was hand-selected, much like the rest of these people, all in July, right after Tucker gave his speech that obviously upset our greatest ally. So this is being wiped off the internet right now. They did searches for the judge. This is the original judge, Robert Lunan, and then Tony Graff replaced him. They did internet searches on him in July, at the end of July, right? Whenever they were searching everyone else, when they were hand-selecting all the people to be a part of this operation, they were searching out Robert Lunan in May 15th. Now, I went and did searches on him again, and they've been wiped off the internet. I did the exact same searches, the exact same time frame. I also went a year back, no information on them whatsoever. And if you look up Robert Lunan, the original judge, there's also no information on him as well. This is absolutely wild. How do you think that they have the power to be able to wipe this stuff off the internet? Because that's going to be kind of difficult to do. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section. Make sure you like and follow for more. And if you'd like to support, make sure you subscribe on Facebook.
Really process everything that happened with Charlie and what it kind of means in terms of where we are. And I think it is a circumstance where we just know. We just know that he was truly betrayed in one of the most egregious ways that I think I've ever seen. It has made me lose faith in politics. It has made me fully lose faith in Trump. And my heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics. And they just were like, nope, that is it. And he serves us or doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. They're going to get Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him a freaking bullet. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question. They killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. Really process everything.
The Candace Owens situation just took a dark turn, and it's probably not what you're expecting. So Candace Owens, who's supposed to be on some sort of sabbatical, recently tweeted this: "Don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case." Now, what is the gag order? Well, it actually has nothing to do with Candace Owens, but that's all right. It basically is asking both attorneys and both sides of the situation and prohibits them from making public statements that could prejudice the ongoing trial of Robinson, 22, charged with this heinous act. The gag order is meant to ensure a fair trial by limiting public commentary from those directly involved in illegal proceedings. Specifically, it restricts lawyers from releasing extrajudicial comments that could sway public opinion or influence jurors. So it really doesn't have anything to do with her, but nevertheless, she inserted herself in it. And she goes on to say that the things that she's discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. Now, this isn't the darkest part about what she is alleging. We're going to get to that in a second. Now, regarding this Charlie Kirk ongoing saga, I actually have a friend of Charlie Kirk's in the studio today that's going to share some of her experience around some of these darker things that are happening. But we don't have as creative integrations as Candace when it comes to brand deals.
You got to get into the Charlie Kirk legacy. I am pretty fired up about that, and I'm pretty disgusted at a lot of stuff that I'm learning. And before we do that, I first want to throw it to Riverbend Ranch, because I've been speaking a lot about Riverbend Ranch. They have fantastic steaks, really the best that you will have, Black Angus beef.
So unfortunately, I don't have steaks to sell you, but I do have our brand new Among the Pagans collection, which I'm wearing right here. That's only available for another 2 days. Perfect for the season. You can pick yourself an Among the Pagans piece up right now over at blessgod.co, which is based on 1 Peter 2:12, which says, "Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us." So go to blessgod.co, pick up some apparel, and let's get back into this conversation. So the dark development isn't that she's claiming that Charlie was betrayed by everyone. And I don't know what everyone means. Is she alluding that including his best friends, including his own wife? What does everyone mean? I'll let you sort that out. It's not that. It's that this week, a Texas resident in Florida was arrested for making threats against everybody from Seth Dillon and the Babylon Bee to Laura Loomer and Josh Hammer. And the most shocking part about this is Nicholas Ray. And the threats that he made were specifically towards conservative influencers like Seth Dillon from the Babylon Bee. And the shocking part, the dark turn of whether this man was radicalized on social media or not, is that he was only following a few accounts on X. Israel Exposed, Mark Talk Cowboys, Paul Miller, APAC Tracker, because APAC apparently runs America, and of course, Candace.
It's 20 minutes late. It had to do with server issues, and it's been too much of a repeat issue. I'm not a tech person, so it's frustrating for me because I can't fix it, and I feel like it's kind of out of my control. Anyways, let's jump right into this since we're already 20 minutes late. Don't worry, I'll make up for the time. Also, sorry, I look like I've been running outside with my kids, because I have been. Obviously took a little more than a week off here from the show. Kind of like I said, when I left the podcast, it was just like kind of needing to hit the reset button. Things were getting very heavy. And honestly, I feel personally better, but things still feel very heavy in terms of the political scene. And I think for me, there was the grieving process, having to get to the accepting standpoint, getting to the point of acceptance, and then also realizing that nothing in Charlie's life was real. It's just something that keeps me up at night. Just nothing in his life was real. Like, everyone's just like, oh, let's just move on. It's so crazy to want to figure out what happened. Let's just start issuing gag orders. And the way to honor him is to give money. I don't know. There's just something really sick and demonic about the entire thing. And speaking of demons, we're going to be talking about them a lot today.
And it's not the first time that Candace Owens has blamed the federal government for taking the lives of college students. Listen to this when talking about the Idaho 4, which, I may add, she never got any further into the case, especially after Brian Kohberger pled guilty. Everybody conveniently forgot that she tried to set that up the same exact way. Was this the prelude to the Charlie Kirk opportunity? Because it certainly feels like, to me, she was performing the same exact script. It just didn't pan out the way that she thought it was going to pan out, and so she dropped it quietly and then scrubbed it. But there's still this. Take a listen.
Guy Blue writes, will you be looking into the Idaho 4 case? Yes. I know this is off topic, but I can't believe what I'm seeing. Your perspective would be valuable. Yep. I have done probably thus far 6 hours of research. It is very scary.
Yes, Candace, incel Brian Koberger sneaking into a sorority house and taking the lives of 4 young women, all aesthetically beautiful college students, especially in the brutal, heinous way that he did. Very, very personal and hands-on. With a knife. Yes, that is scary. Mass murder, gun violence, murder is always scary. Imagine the pure terror and fright that those women felt in those moments that they were dying. Scary is the very least of a synonym that I would choose. Horrifying, terrifying, egregious, nightmarish, brutal, vicious, heinous. But the only sympathy that she can even muster up is a disconnected, desensitized. It's very scary. It's so scary to then give you this point, which she really, really, really wants to drive home, because one of these conspiracy theories, one of these days, just has to be the one to stick. And just between you and me, this one wasn't it. He pled guilty. He took the plea, and that was that. There was no more money to be made from this particular case. So the machine stopped.
Potential military operation, I don't know. I know that I have never believed the official story that was given to us. None of it made any sense. And I am wondering if more people were involved. I didn't immediately go deep down the rabbit hole of that story, despite expressing my views publicly that I thought something was very wrong and something was very sinister, because there were students involved. And I just felt like it was more appropriate to allow those families to mourn.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Did you just say because there were students involved, you didn't want to cover it because you wanted to let everybody mourn? Did Charlie Kirk not have a lot of college students that were participating in the Turning Point USA chapters on campuses? Were there not 3,000 plus students and other people in attendance when he was assassinated at a college campus? Tyler James Robinson was a student before himself of another university, correct? What about Charlie's wife, his babies, his sister, his mother, his father, his staff? All of those people don't deserve to mourn. So those morals and values will apply for her excuse to not cover the Idaho 4 when it's convenient, but it doesn't apply when it's something that's personal to her, like a former friend, co-worker, and somebody that she was once affiliated with. Then you would just recuse yourself from talking about it altogether because of conflict of interest. Instead, she's so narcissistic. She's the only person out of 8 billion people that can truly do the investigation of who killed Charlie Kirk. She even said verbatim, I am going to solve the murder of my friend, Charlie Kirk, which automatically precludes that she cannot use the witnesses, the assassin, or anybody that's going to be a witness of the case against Tyler James Robinson that was brought by Utah law enforcement, because Utah law enforcement, the feds, the CIA, the Trump administration, Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel, Jewish people, Jewish Americans, Jewish American donors, Zionists, are all dirty. They're all lying. They're all corrupt. So therefore, why would she piggyback off of the dirty, lying, corrupt people's real investigation to therefore conclude her own? That essentially is what told me immediately that it's all bullshit, and she knows it's all bullshit. If anything, narcissism and being an opportunist is going to be what gets in Candace Owens' way. Because she can say that it's not about politics, but she certainly brings them up every single 5 minutes. And very valid criticisms and critiques are now being shared of her. And it's not because she's acting like a true Democrat, cosplaying a lukewarm Catholic conservative. It's because of the psychological manipulation of her audience, using a man's assassination for her own monetary gain and her own bias and poor judgment that maybe she's not the best person to investigate anything. But again, a perfect example of how her values and morals can apply over here when it's convenient for her, but not over here where they really matter. That's a true narcissist, a true sociopath. They can do no wrong ever. They're always the greatest. They're queen bee. They're the only one capable of doing an investigation. They're the person with all the facts, all the receipts, all the knowledge, all the truth, because Charlie Kirk came to her in a dream. She's the only truth teller. She's the only person righteous enough. So you tell me then, why does it feel opposite than that? Why does it feel demonic? Why does it feel heavy? Why does it feel wrong? Just the simple fact that she says she's solving the murder of her friend Charlie Kirk. Anything less than doing exactly that, she's a failure. And she's not delivering what she verbatim said and promised. But here's the issue with that. If she truly had receipts or hard evidence to prove otherwise, she should have shown it, because exactly like she said, the world deserves the truth. The world deserves to know. It shouldn't take 6 weeks and grasping at straws. Her true problem is that she was trying to fuck with witnesses, and she can wrap it up and present it as whatever she wants to. But dog shit in a pretty box is still dog shit in a pretty box. To ever bring me back around, she would not only have to come out with the hardcore facts, proof, evidence, direct emails and text messages from Donald Trump himself or Benjamin Netanyahu to prove that there was a link to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But she would also have to issue a formal apology, because there is no denying that she is doing these videos for other selfish motivations. And we know that greed, jealousy, envy, they are deadly sins. They are a part of the 10 Commandments. We all fail. We all make mistakes. We all fall short of the glory of God, and we all sin. But the reason why Candace Owens is feeling it much heavier than everybody else is because she is very much aware of what she is doing. Truth doesn't come with heaviness. Truth isn't followed by further confusion, disarray, and chaos. I think she really took a break and a vacation because she had to. She no longer can contact anybody in or around the case of Tyler James Robinson and Charlie Kirk, therefore limiting her information well to a perimeter even further than what she wants. And that even further proves that she's not only not doing an investigation, she is piggyback riding off of what the law enforcement officials have already done. And so much so that a judge had to order a gag order on everybody involved to prevent them from talking to content creators like Candace Owens. I think she understands the reality that she no longer can tamper with obstructing justice or tampering with witnesses. And good on the judge for doing exactly that. But it also begs the question, why is she saying that everybody's just moving on like nothing happened? The sheer audacity to even insinuate or imply that you know how other people are feeling, especially his family, his babies, his wife, his parents, his sister, his staff. Yes, the world keeps spinning. Time keeps going on. Life in the rest of the world keep on moving. Maybe, just maybe, the best way that they find to cope with their grief is to truly honor what Charlie Kirk built by not only keeping it going, but sustaining it. And who is Candace Owens to judge anybody else over how they grieve or how they publicly show or display that grief?
But now that some time has passed, and of course, still understanding that you are still going to be in mourning over that, we do need to get to the truth of that, because it happened on a college campus and the media was not honest about other elements of this case. And I think that, I think there's something very dark happened there, and that the government is trying to cover a lot of it up, which is evident by how much they're locking down in the court case.
Trigger warning, Zach Costello has gotten a hold of footage from Charlie Kirk's right side during his assassination. And it puts to bed a lot of the crazy conspiracy theories that Candace Owens herself has been helping perpetrate. Under fair use, I'm going to show a clip from his video. If you do not want to see another angle of the assassination, then I would highly suggest that you end the video and do not go any further. However, you do not actually see the wound or any bodily fluids. But you do see a perspective that Candace Owens claims to have seen and not shared. And of course, I don't mean the other video that Turning Point USA had taken on their cameras from behind Charlie Kirk. But under fair use, I want you to listen to this part of Zach Costello's video. I think it's very informative, highly detailed, and it also, like many other things that have come out, debunks Candace Owens.
Check this out as I walk you through a few things that I think pretty clearly get answered here with this video. It clearly answers a number of the questions around this case.
Oh, and there's been a lot of questions thanks to Candace Owens and her conspiracy theories and lies, but I do appreciate this video and this breakdown.
First thing I'm looking at here is the necklace flying off. Clearly not an earpiece and clearly not blood splatter as has been put out there.
Yes, that is Charlie Kirk's necklace. And for people who are not ballistics experts or have any knowledge about ballistics, a lot of these videos, even if they're in 4HD or Ultra HD or 8K Ultra HD, bullets travel at such a fast frame rate that even video footage slowed down looks kind of awkward. It goes by faster than a camera recording does. So the footage is sometimes grainy or it looks very distorted. But finally, we have a clear high definition video of Charlie Kirk from his right.
So the right side of Charlie's head. I don't see any evidence here that this shot came from the right side. He immediately snaps backward, like this. Snaps backward, and his back billows up.
Because it came from the front. And all of this evidence, all of these cameras, all of the cell phone footage is going to be played for a jury. It's going to all be admitted in the case against Tyler James Robinson as evidence. And of course, we, the public, are not going to be privy to those things, but they do exist. And God willing, justice will be served by the jury who is presented them. Me, you, Candace Owens, nobody else has the right to speculate because we're not members of that jury. We know that he was assassinated with a single bullet, a single shot. And we know that law enforcement have the guy that's being charged with the assassination. But by the end of this, mark my words, I'm sure a lot of the evidence is going to come out in a Freedom of Information Act request after he is sentenced. After gag orders are lifted, everything is unsealed if it is sealed. And I truly do believe that a lot of people that have been documenting Candace Owens and her 18 videos about Charlie Kirk are going to truly be glad that they did document it, because I believe that eventually all of the truth will come out. And it's not going to be presented by Candace Owens.
You can look closely and you see that cavitation effect actually goes up his neck, probably shattering those vertebrae as has been described from his medical report. Then you see him fall back and you actually see him hit the ground here in this video. I don't see him fighting anything. He looks pretty limp. I've heard people claim that he didn't die immediately, and we should look into suffocation. I don't see that there. Finally, this guy here who has been accused of giving some sort of signal or hitting some type of detonation remote, the timing of him pulling on his shirt doesn't match with the timing of the shot.
And there you have it. It really is that simple. Candace Owens is trying to sell the public and her audience truth, righteousness, good versus evil. And we're on the right side if we side with her. But she has said some pretty damning and outrageous things that she can't backtrack on, things that she can't erase or scrub from the internet or take back. And she very clearly implied that Donald Trump had everything to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination and his administration. And when called out because her video from her private book club on her website behind a paywall was exposed. She says Zionists are now signing up to my book club to steal my content. Fair use is not stealing, especially if they paid for the content. It's no longer yours once you're selling it. 1, I meant every word. When the feds are implicated, they always give people a holiday. You implied Donald Trump. Israel also with the Boulevard, meaning that the two of them colluded. She can't end it without sticking it to a Jew, and what better way to one of the most famous ones? Number 2, sign up here and learn why Sigmund Freud says incest inspires their neurotic, psychopathic behavior. Well, you know why she's saying that. Candace Owens is now directly accusing the Trump administration of killing Charlie Kirk. Quote, they definitely killed you, unquote. What do you all think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. And like always, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Please like and share. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. And I'll see you all on the next one.